Hello, friends. I am in a different place. I am at my parents'. This whole work from home thing just keeps going, which means that if I want to see my family, then I just gotta go stay with them for a week or two. And while I've been staying with my parents, I have used the opportunity to clean things. In my process of cleaning, I've found quite a few things that are just like funny, embarrassing, cringy, just interesting in general. One such thing I thought would be fun to share with you guys, and kind of a good lesson in the way people grow. I found where I essentially did like a mind map of possible futures for me right after I graduated college, and I didn't have a job and I didn't know what I was doing. So I wanted to go through this because it's just sort of fascinating the way my mind was working and having a better understanding of the world now versus then. Okay, so as you can see, I essentially, laid out my future in kind of 4 quadrants with me in the center. I guess it's pretty obvious that I wasn't very excited about settling, or what I defined as settling at the time. So like here it says working at WSET. So WSET is a local news station that the summer between my junior and senior year of college I interned at. I didn't super enjoy that experience. So that was definitely something that was very, very feasible, but definitely felt like I was settling. Like it was just, I needed a job now. Now there's nothing wrong with working at a news station or substitute teaching, especially when you are right out of college and really have no experience. But to me, as you can see when we get to kind of the super big dream side, that was not in any way a first step towards any of those dreams. And then up in this top corner here, I have marriage and children, which was very feasible to do, but was extremely settling. So I wrote that off real fast. So marriage and children were on one side, and then directing Hollywood pictures were on the other. Some other things in here, writing a book, going to film school, moving to LA or New York City, because I felt like, those are like the hubs of production, but I also felt like that was maybe the only place I could do those things. Starting my own production company, which then like making a documentary or making my own indie feature. So starting my own film school was like an idea that I played around with, especially in my late teens and early 20s, because since I come from like such a rural area that if I even mentioned wanting to do anything in film, people would be like, oh, so you're gonna go to Hollywood and make like big blockbuster movies like Transformers or something. So this idea I had was to, do some sort of like film school or film summer camp or after school program or some sort of organization where I could teach kids production skills and like storytelling skills. There are definitely more of those things that exist now, probably even in my sort of like rural area. But at the time, there was nothing like that at all. I just didn't really know like where to even start with that idea. I feel like now as a 30-year-old I have more life experience under my belt, I probably have a better idea of how I could start something like that. But I guess you can kind of see how like my goals since being relatively young have centered around wanting to give other people the opportunities and knowledge that I didn't have when I was younger. And then over here, of course, is pursuing a YouTube career. Having just the previous summer done the YouTube Creator Institute and getting all these tools and really starting my YouTube channel, it was definitely highly unique. So the straight feasible section were things that I felt like I could actually pursue right now. They weren't like the big dreams over here. They were things that were still in my field, I guess. Marketing for my parents' company, which I did sort of do. National Geographic is in Northern Virginia, DC area. And so I definitely applied for some jobs there because that was pretty fascinating to me. Then we've got Virginia or North Carolina production companies, which is sort of what I ended up doing. I've never actually worked for a true production company, but I've worked in a production department inside of a larger company. Both of my like full-time adult jobs have been like that. And then over here in this corner, which I think we're supposed to be more feasible, but we're kind of on the settling side. I think that's how I'm interpreting this graph. I think that's correct. We're getting a master's in education or getting a master's in business administration, so an MBA. And actually an MBA is what I did classes for a year because I was a graduate assistant at a local college in the sports department doing webcasting. And then getting a master's in education, I think, was connecting back to this starting a film school. This feeling like I needed like actual education training in order to, you know, educate other people, obviously. All right, final section. I really wanted to travel and get out of like Lynchburg and Virginia. And so the way that I saw being able to do that was to do some sort of like missions or nonprofit videography. And then the Disney internship was high on the unique and high on the dream side. I applied for, I think, several internships at Disney. I never heard back, ever. And then working at Google or YouTube. So I definitely looked into like being a partner manager. Again, never hearing back, which like, granted, I can't blame them but so much because I don't think I would have been the right choice for that. There was just like this sense of desperation and not feeling like I had very many skills. Like I had good skills, but there was like no one wanted to pay you for them. So yeah, that was my kind of thinking when I was 22 and completely lost as to what to do. I always felt like everyone else knew what they were doing. Over the last 8 years, I've realized that one, people were just really good like actors, and social media is a place to easily fake it till you make it. It's never easy to like graduate and have to just like start your life, it feels like. But I guess this is a little bit of a reassurance that the things you think are like super big dreams or not feasible at all, things that you feel like you have to do, basically the world is your oyster in a way. Obviously there are a lot of roadblocks. Like for me, the reason that my kind of graph is segmented the way that it is, with like feasible versus super big dreams, is that I didn't have any money and my parents didn't have any money, so it's not like I could just move to New York City and someone pay my rent while I, you know, like did unpaid internships. I guess the observation from all of this is that our futures tend to be determined not just by like what we can imagine or what we think we're capable of, but the roadblocks that like society and life has put in front of us. So I guess the message here is to be understanding with yourself and, you know, make yourself a roadmap like this. Look at like what are the things that you think are feasible and what do you think are the super big dreams, and then try to find some place in the middle of like what is something that I can do right now. Like don't beat yourself up if you're not moving to New York or LA to have an unpaid internship and go into serious debt because you feel like that's the only way you can reach your goals. You learn at some point in like your early to mid 20s that what you think you want or need in your life is maybe not actually what you need. Like I learned very quickly that I needed something that had regular work hours and a regular paycheck and had benefits, because I need that stability, that sort of like base stability, for me to be able to be comfortable, creative, and just like myself. Maybe you don't need that, maybe you think you don't need that, but eventually you find out you do. There's nothing wrong with figuring it out. So yeah, there's some thoughts on life and adulthood and growing up for you. It's been really fun to kind of look back at some of my old things and laugh at them, appreciate my younger self, essentially. So yeah, remember that you guys can check me out on Instagram for all the in-between times and unfiltered thoughts. And I will see you guys later. Bye.